Sup peeps, my name's Ian. I sell books on eBay. Thought I'd do something a little bit different today. Run out of time this week to do everything I had planned, but a wee bit on how we do things, how we actually work things. So I've got a big order of books, 10 hardcovers to go out, and an awkward sized board game. So I thought I'd just spend a wee bit of time showing you how I go about packing those up, making sure they're nice and secure and ready to go. Normally I do those off camera because they take a wee bit longer, but today let's give that a bash and show you how it works. Alright, so I'll just need to adjust the camera. I'll try and cut this bit out. Still here. Right. Workspace is very limited, so I'm going to work down here, and for the most part you'll just be looking at my knees. Anyway, we take our hardcovers and we stack them up as we would with any other order, and try and get them as evenly balanced as we can, and get a bit of bubble wrap around it, and roll it over and roll it over. And this doesn't add a huge amount of protection, but these will be going into a cardboard box instead of a poly mailer, so they'll be kept nice and safe and secure from there. Right, just trim that off and get a little bit of tape to secure that in place so it doesn't flap about. If we can get some tape on the ends, all the better, but not essential. So there's not quite enough slack in the other end to get the tape on, so we won't even bother, so I don't want to risk putting tape on the books. Next, we get a bit of box. So this is 1/4 of the bubble wrap box that my bubble wrap gets delivered in. We'll plonk it down and we'll shift our bundle onto there, and this should fit just, but we're not going to rely on just folding it. We want the folds to be a wee bit tidier, so I use my steel rule because it's got a nice corner on it and it tends to give me straight lines, and just square across the card and you get a nice straight fold. That next fold works in nicely there, and again across this top edge. There we go, and that folds down there. So we now have the best part of the box created, but it's all going to fall apart. So simple old brown tape, nothing fancy in all of this. It's just what it is. So it's a very close edge on that one, but get a bit of tape across just to hold it in place at the moment. We'll take the box up properly once we've done creating it, but that gets us started. Right, now we've got to make up our ends, so we get a little sharp knife, and quite simply you trim in each corner to where the books are. So get a nice, oh that's popped open, it's not helpful. I need to put some more tape in that to hold it. So sharp knife, trim into the edges, and that's why it's kind of important to make sure you've got a crease on the box folds rather than just some big raggedy fold, because your cut can follow the crease instead of it just being a kind of random slash through the cardboard. Fold in the bottom ends, and then I always, if there's a double edge, which there really always is, I fold it down first and then bring that one up and over. So that's us at the bottom of the box. Flip it onto its end. We're not going to tape it yet, and it's easier for the second piece because you're working vertically. So again, just trimming down the corners so that they meet the edges of the books. Careful you don't chop the books up. Fold one edge down, fold one edge down, fold the double edge down, and then finally that single edge. So we've now got them in the box, and all we need to do is get it taped up. So best way to make sure your tape stays on is to do a full wrap around so it meets itself at the other end, which is what I will do right now. Just rolling the box over as you go. Tuck it in if you need to. So all the way around, meets itself. And then look for the weak points. So we've got another loose edge across there. So we'll do a full wrap around on it. Trim that off, and then just make sure happy with the package. What I'm going to do is put another wrap around just here because it was such a close edge. I just want to make sure. Lovely noise. And there you go. 10 hardcover books. Packed up nice and neatly, and all I need to do is put the details on that, which I just need to find. Where are they going? CH42. One of my repeat buyers, which is always good to see. And then we'll get the measurements and the weight as we normally would, just so that it's complete. So that's 6.8 kilos, and we take the measurements because this will probably go by Yodel. So that's 34, 26, 20, 34, 26 by 20. One down. Right. The other one is an old Risk set. Again, one of the bits that I'm just kind of clearing out. Although, when I've been in the shops recently, there's been a few nice bits and pieces that I've actually just picked up and maybe list and sell over Christmas, but we shall see. This is only sold for like £7 plus postage. There was missing dice, but I found an old dice game for 50p, and I've managed to replace some of the dice, so I hadn't included that in the listing because I literally just picked it up, but it's there now anyway, so hopefully that's a wee bonus for the buyer. We're getting something extra. They made me an offer at £5 just as yesterday afternoon when I'd come in and picked up the dice, which I declined because I thought, oh, I need to go in and update that listing to see the dice are now included, and then they just paid full price for it, so fair enough. I would have put an extra couple of quid on it because I had the dice, but nah, let's just let them take it at that as if it was an offer on the original, if that makes sense. Right, more of my bubble wrap box. So this one, these old games, you can get that to pop out, were too wide, you can see that, to fit across the card, so you just have to use a bit more to get them in. So I'll be tucking that one into the corner there. So I'm going to do it upside down so I get a smooth edge for running my row blade along. I'm going to store that bit. I'm going to store that bit, and we'll take care of the flaps in a minute. But we want to make sure these bits are where they should be. and find the edge, because we don't want to use too much cardboard. And I'm just using my scissors to snip along that. Those of you with hacking knives and tape guns and all the rest of it will find this even easier, obviously. But then you wouldn't need to be watching this to see how to pack something, because you already know exactly what you're doing. Perhaps you're watching out of curiosity, who knows? So we now have a nice clean edge there. We'll pop that down, and we've got our core box ready to go. Let's put this tape all the way around this time. Make sure it doesn't pop off. Now, to be honest, this is a lot of hassle for what's probably like £2 profit. But, you know, if you're going to do something, do it properly where you can. Let's just squiggle that around a wee bit. It keeps moving and falling all over the place. There we go. It's because I've got my bubble wrap sat on top of the roll. Right, so find our edge and decide how much overlap you're going to want. So the edge of this is literally at the crease in the box, which makes it quite easy to measure. So we're going to take about 3 inches and just take that excess off. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. All you're wanting is the right size. Slide this to the end so I'm not cutting through the dining room chairs. Some people may get very upset if I do that. Right, so we've got our first edge. Make sure it's where it needs to be, and then just what we were doing before, trimming the corners so they all match where they need to be, and fold them all in. Flip it up, and now you're working with the top edge, which I'll do down here. So same deal again, let's get rid of the excess. So the gain comes to here, so we're going to get a few inches on top of that. Yeah, 3 inches. Kind of don't want to be overlapping and overlapping, so it's good to get it as accurate as you can, but don't spend hours measuring things out and going back and forth, because you'll drive yourself mad and still never get it exactly perfectly right. Got some nice wee cut-offs to use later on. I'll tape off the original box, we'll move that out of the way. Right, same again, trimming the corners. Two, three, fold and fold. Fold, fold, fold. And you see, I've not scored those edges, and because it's such a tight piece at the end, it's actually making it harder to do. So I am just going to take my scoring ruler, make that a little bit easier. Get that edge down, and that one can just plop over the top. Grab some tape. A wee bit across. There, we hold that in. Make sure it's all tucked in where it's meant to be. Along one edge. Make sure the other end's still tucked in. Along that edge. Lots of lovely tape noises today. And snip that off. It's a bit of a It is a Frankenstein box, so we're going to make sure it is well taped up. Don't want anything leaking out of this, or anything leaking into it perhaps, if the leather stays as it is. Tape right round the outside edge. So there's a wee bit of a gap just in there where the original fold of the box was. I'll just put a bit of tape around the top edge to make sure. It's much better spending an extra few seconds making sure than risking a complaint, a return, negative feedback. But there we have it, all sealed up, ready to go to, where's this one going to? It's going to BS2. So we'll get a weight and such on that. Bring you back up to the light. BS2, it weighs 1.5 kilos. And it's 53 by 29 by 9. There we go. Another one done. Right, out with that, we've got a few single books to go, pair of jeans, a couple of wee book bundles, and a calculator. So I'll just keep packing that just now until you all get bored and tune out, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, sales slightly better yesterday, really not massively so. It's been a difficult few weeks, but I really hope that it picks up soon. What have we got next? This is probably the best bundle I've sold just because I like the books. For Little Eyes I don't know. World War Z, Max Brooks, Brandon Sanderson, so that's the Mistborn saga series, book 2 of that one. Game of Thrones, and Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. So that's a nice mixed up bundle that somebody's got themselves there. And we'll just try and get it nice and level, stacked as it should be, and give it a wrap. So that's wrapped up. And it's just getting sealing it up, sticking it in a bag, and weighing it. That one there. So I'm hoping to get out and pick some more stock up this afternoon. I managed to go and grab like a couple of dozen books yesterday. Yeah, books and maybe 15 or so books and about 20 DVDs. So nothing massively exciting in amongst it. Really just topping up my big bundle books. But today I want to go to somewhere where I get a lot more to pick up. 1.95. Maybe a few interesting bits in there, and this is going to, find the right bit of the screen, S12. And it's 30 by 25 by, let's call it 11. And it goes in the pile. Right, next we have another bundle. Another kind of interesting one. We've got Clash of Kings, a couple of James Herbert, Ms. Bushnell, Sex and the City, and a Fleetwood Mac book. So that's a nice mixed bundle too, which is how I want people to buy things. That's, you get people who go in and buy 5 of a particular type, but it's really good when folk go in and mix up those bundles. That means they're going through my listings, they're finding what they need, and to be honest are more likely, if they like what they get, to come back as repeat customers. Get these mixed up. the sides, take the other side, and chuck it in a bag. Before we weigh it, measure it, etc. So, what did I say this one was going? This one's going to SK17, so £12.86. That's including postage, paid for those 5 books, which I think is a very good deal. And I still get to make a little bit of money out of it. Zero out my scales, so 1990. These are all just under the 2 kilos, which is great. That's 28 by 25 by 11. These packages should all be pretty uniform in size. Where do I say SK17? But I'm not putting, spending hours wrapping more and more tape right round, pin the edges and make it into a neat brick. So I always kind of overestimate in my measurements. It doesn't really matter unless they're over certain limits, but it just means that I'm making sure I don't get a extra charge on any of the postage, because that's happened before and it's incredibly annoying, especially when you know you have measured it to perfection. Right, next up, well, that was that big bundle of hardcover, so we'll go past that. And we've got Dav Pilkey, Captain Underpants, Dogman, Ukin Glock. Sorry, these have been really popular. For a while it was the Tom Gates diary ones, Liz Pichon Fiction. They sold all the time. I haven't sold one of them in a couple of weeks, but the Dav Pilkey ones just keep going. So if you see any of those titles, just grab them. They don't sell for lots of money. Well, that's actually a lie. There's a couple of those in there that sell for £4 or £5, but they sell really well if you let people choose which ones they want. Bundle them up, sell them on. So for that bundle they've paid £12.71 for those 5 little books. So they're going to TW3. I think again that is a good deal for someone. Same amount of money as the big bundle, the last 2 big bundles I just wrapped up there, but a much smaller, easier to post, cheaper to post, very slightly package. Right, I've got it all wrapped up into a nice little package, and it weighs 1.2 kilos. So yeah, substantially smaller. What did I say it was going again? TW3. And the measurements for that will be 32 by 15 by 9. So I just write all of that stuff in the front of it. Don't know if you can see that, there's too much glare or whatever. And then when I print off the labels, I've got all of that information to match up to the label, so I can check the postcode against the weight and make sure that everything's exactly as it should be. And very occasionally, happened yesterday, very occasionally you will get somewhere that's got the same first 3 digits in the postcode, 2 orders going to practically the same place, so always make sure you're as prepared as possible to survive that. Next up we have Robin, a biography by Stephen Moss. Got a smudge or something on it. No, it did. Now it doesn't. This went for £6.90, that's including postage, and it's going to somewhere KT, whatever that may be. It's a nice easy wrap, that one. Don't take much. Bits of tape. I need to order more bubble wrap I think today. It's getting a little small, that roll. Usually as soon as I get down to my last roll I order another 2, but sales have been so poor I've not been able to do that, so I'll need to find a spare 25 quid and get another 2 big rolls ordered up. Right. I just said normally I don't put extra tape on, but when it's just a single book it just tidies up the parcel quite nicely. So a wee bit of tape to get the fold and it's good to go. And it weighs 500 grams and it measures 25 by 16 by 5. What did I say it was? KT somewhere? KT3. Again, written in the front, in the pile, ready for a label. Next, we've got a calculator. So, 50p. I've got a wee box to chuck it in here. So, bought that for 50p. Not that long ago actually. I actually got it because, you know, kids doing maths at school and I thought, oh, maybe one of them could use that. But they're quite happy with the ones they've got, unsurprisingly. But that sold for £9.60 plus postage. So it's not huge profits or anything, but for 50p, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And like I say, I've got a box that I was hoping it would fit in, but it doesn't. So I'll just chuck it in some bubbles and I'll find another wee box for it and get that one packed up in a bit. Always look, any kind of wee boxes and bits of card, as long as you can, keep them. You know, stash it away somewhere because you never know when you'll need it. It might just be for putting away, fill up a bit of space in a package, or it could be used to make up a wee Frankenstein box, or it just happens to be the right size box for what you are looking for. In this case, I'll get a bit of card. Let's try this. It's too narrow. So let's find another bit. So we take this piece and we fold it that way. Now, when I'm putting stuff in card like this, I'm not so bothered about making it into a box. It just has to be wrapped enough to give it some rigidity. I don't know if that's a real word. I've now got sellotape stuck to my finger, which doesn't help anything. Because once you've got it in with a bit of rigidity so that it's protected, then you can just chuck it in a poly mailer. So it's just a wee thing. Like pet food boxes, things like that, would be great for that too. So I'll pop in there, just into the mailer like that, and that's it, good to go. Put a bit of tape down to save it slipping out the end of the packaging that I've made. And we can weigh it, and it can go to CF10. CF10, it's 190 grams and it measures 21 by 19 by 5. And seeing the pile of crap I've got in the background there reminds me I really need to do some tidying up very, very soon. Right. This keeps wiggling around. Let's get back over here so we can see what we're doing. Right, a single book. All I need to know about filmmaking I learned from The Toxic Avenger. So James Gunn and Lloyd Kaufman. I think that's a pretty cool title, to be honest. James Gunn. Everyone knows who he is. Oh, it's moving again. It's every time I grab my bubble wrap, it just goes funky. Right. Give this a quick wrap. Slice 3 times. Snippy snip snip snip. Tape 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 tape. Right. You're using bubble wrap, tape, cards, whatever it is. just try and be as efficient as you can. You don't want to spend loads of money doing something if you don't need to. So you want to use the minimum resources possible, but at the same time you could measure out your bubble wrap and tape to the exact millimetre and save pennies over a period of time, but it could take you 10 times as long. So always be looking for where is the real efficiency, where does the true economy lie, time against the material cost. So I'd rather find a nice neat compromise between those two than do things as quickly as possible or do things as cheaply as possible. You really do need to find a good compromise. M41, this is going to, and it measures 30, 18, 6. Right. Only a couple to go, so I'll just make you suffer. What have we got? A pair of jeans. Joe Brown jeans. Another clear out. That was £15.29 plus postage. These are good sellers. If you've got a big stack of jeans, you'll sell a couple of pairs every day. Get the right sizes. It doesn't need to be, see a lot of videos and it's you only go for the top end brands, or they've all got the Levi's, and they've all got to be something. Anything that's a half decent brand, in fact even some of the cheaper supermarket brands, to be honest, will sell. If you can pick them up for a couple of quid, you're going to make some money on them. I can pick up, probably dozens of pairs of jeans a week if I want to, for between £2 and £4, and sell them for £15 to £20 relatively quickly. Not like next day sales or anything, within a month or two they will typically go out the door. Where are these going? TA1. But they're different to list. 33 by 20 by 6. With my books, once I've got a book listing created on the bundles, then they just keep going. They never stop. It's fairly straightforward from that point of view. What's my last item? One more book. But with things like jeans, you're going to have to create a listing for every pair that you get, unless you happen to pick up a whole load that are exactly the same condition, size, etc. Last book, Cassandra Clare, Shadowhunters, City of Heavenly Fire. So although things like jeans are good to sell, because you make money on them, it does take longer to do the listing piece, and you have to have a space set up to be able to do that. A pair of jeans take up a lot of space when you lay them out flat. So a book, you can do that in the corner of a table. Jeans need a bit more space. So that if you don't have a dedicated space, that means every time you're going into them, you need to prepare and create that space. Whether it's on a table, putting a nice white sheet down on the floor, whatever it might be, you're going to have to create that space. So I usually end up buying a few pairs of these things and waiting to look at a big stack, and then just doing it all in the one-off. As I've not been buying much of that stuff lately, it takes a long time for that big stack to appear. So at the moment I've got, I think, one pair of jeans, a shirt, Cotton Traders short sleeve shirt, that's quite nice, North Shore Marks and Spencer's leather jacket, a pair of Romer shoes, a Orvis jumper, and 3, I think, Christmas jumpers. So I've got a wee bundle of that stuff to go up, but that's like the last 2-3 months. Those are the things that I've seen and picked up, and then a couple of them was just yesterday. Just tape down the end of this bag. So I think this weekend I'll clear the space, get it all set up, and get all of those items listed. It's not a huge amount, but you know, anything that sells is good for making money. Where did I say this item was going to? RM11. RM11. So yes, I sell books on eBay, but I need to earn a living. So to be honest, I'll sell whatever's available. We've got 26 by 15 by 7. And especially at this time of year, where sales will be improving. Oh, I've got 2 or 3 kind of winter jackets to list as well. It's that time of year where you want to make as much money as you can over the next few months. There's stuff in the shops, buy it, sell it. Don't. There's a just mumble about this. You could focus on only really expensive items, so stuff that you're going to make £50 every time, stuff that you're going to sell for a minimum of 60, 70, 80, £100. Perhaps your profit limit's 20 quid. You can do that if you've got limited space and you've got the time. Be really picky. Otherwise, grab it all. Don't go for anything where you're going to pay 2 quid and sell it for a tenner. That's kind of my cut-off point. If I can pick up jeans for £2 or £3 and sell them for £15, £20, then it's kind of 5 times the value, which means that you're going to make double what you invest typically. There's no set rule on that one. Depends on what kind of promoted fees, etc. you spend to get that item sold. But typically, if I spend £2 on something, I'll make at least £4 profit. So that gives me 6 quid to go back in to reinvest or whatever needs done. So it kind of trebles up your money every time. If you can buy something for a tenner, then how much money do you need to make out of that tenner? How quickly can you sell that item that you got for a tenner? If you can sell it in a couple of weeks and make a tenner, then you've doubled your money. So you get 20 quid back within a fortnight, which is a pretty good investment, let's be honest. If you can buy it for a tenner and sell it for 50 quid, that's fantastic. But really, if you spend a tenner on it and it's going to cost you £5 in fees, then if you can sell it for 25 quid relatively quickly, if you put it at that price, then that's a good investment. So don't go by this, it has to be at least 5 times value. It depends what you want to do. Do you just want to get stuff churned over and have cash coming in? Or do you want to have really nice, sexy sales that go for a fortune? I mean, that's an example. My top 2 shelves there are the kind of more valuable books that I've got sitting. There's books up there that I've got listed for close to £200. They sell very, 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 very slowly, but they're only taking up a wee bit of space. So I'm quite happy just to sit and wait. I could half the price on them and maybe sell them in a week. But for that volume that I've got there, I'm quite happy for them to sit. If I had 5,000 books like that, the price on all of them would be at least halved, and I would just get that churning over and get the cash flowing in as fast as I can. Really, kind of once every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll sell a book that has up to £100 or more value. So it's a rare, uncommon thing, and you rely on everything else just churning out and churning out and churning out. So sell it as cheaply as you can, where you're still making enough money to make it worth your while. So back to that pair of jeans, pay 2 quid for them, spend 10 minutes listing them, spend a couple of minutes packing them. So you're 20 minutes in. If you've only got that one thing to take to the post office or drop off at the Yodel drop, wherever it is, then it's still going to be well worth your while making £5-10 on it, because you won't only have one thing going. It'll all work out. Anyway, I'm rambling now. I'm going to leave it there. Hope this has been of some use to some of you. See ya. Love ya. Bye.